Hello. Hello, everyone. Good morning, all of you.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Okay, let's start. I'm sharing my screen first. In last sessions, we have started the concurrency control. Okay, in that we have seen the log-based concurrency control protocols. So what is the concurrency control? Concurrency control is the working concept that is required for controlling and the managing the concurrent executions. We already learned what do you mean by the concurrent executions. So to control that concurrent executions, we require the concurrency control protocols. Okay. So there are basically three types of concurrency control protocols. First one is the log-based concurrency control protocol, then timestamp concurrency control protocols, and validation-based concurrency control protocols. And why it's required? After applying these protocols, we ensure that the atomicity, consistency, isolation, durability, as well as the serializability of the concurrent executions of the database transactions. That's why we require the protocols. And protocols in general, protocols are nothing but the rules and regulations. Okay. So we have seen the log-based protocols. In this type of protocols, what we are doing we are applying the logs on the transactions. Okay, so there are two types of logs. There is a shared log as well as the exclusive log. When we are applying the shared log, then it is also known as the read-only log, and in a shared log, the data item can only read the transactions. So that's why it's called as a read-only logs. If someone applying the log on specific data, if they are using the specific data particular transaction using the data, then before using that data, we have to apply the log on that, and after that other transaction just read that data if they want to use. They are not able to update. That's why it's called as a read-only logs. Then exclusive log. In the exclusive log, the data item can be both read as well as the written by the transaction. This log is exclusive, and in this log, multiple transactions do not modify the same data simultaneously. Yes, we can read and write, but we cannot update or modify the data simultaneously. That's why it's called as a exclusive log. Okay. So in log-based log-based protocol, there are four types of log protocol: simplistic, reclaiming, as well as the two-phase locking, that is also called as a 2PL, and a strict two-phase locking. Yes. We have already covered these 4 points. Just I am revising the two-phase locking, which is the important. In two-phase locking protocol, it divides the phase of the transaction into 3 parts. In first part, when the execution of the transaction start, it seeks the permission of the locks it required. Means first we are applying the lock. In second part, the transactions acquires all the locks, and third phase is started as soon as the transaction release the first locks. First, we are applying the locks. Then in second part, we are performing the operations, whatever we want to do. And in third phase, whatever locks we are applying, we are just releasing the lock in that. But in third phase, we are not applying new locks. Okay, just there is a releasing of the lock. These are the 3 phases. Okay, so because of that, in two phase, There are why it's called as a two phase, because there are basically two phase, growing phase and shrinking phase. In growing phase, we are just applying the new locks. And after that, processing the operations, and shrinking phase, we are releasing the locks. Okay. The next is the timestamp based protocol. Yes, timestamp based protocol, that means something related to the time, and we are applying the timestamp on a transaction. The timestamp of ordering protocol is used to order the transaction based on their timestamp. So the order of the transaction is nothing but the ascending order of the transaction creation. See, when suppose you are in a reserving the railway reservation system, timestamp is a means what, जो कस्टमर पहिल्यांदा अप्लाय करतो आहे एखाद्या सीट रिझर्वेशन साठी, तर त्याला पहिली प्रायोरिटी जाते, कारण की त्याचं ऑकरन्स हा फर्स्ट आहे. मीन्स वी आर गिव्हिंग प्रायोरिटी टू फर्स्ट दॅट कस्टमर्स. दॅट मीन्स फर्स्ट कम फर्स्ट सर्व, लाईक दॅट. लाईक दॅट इन अ ट्रान्झॅक्शन्स जे इंटरनली ऍक्सेस होतात, तर त्यांना ही प्रायोरिटी कशी दिली जाते, आणि जे त्यांचा जो क्रिएशन आहे सिस्टीम मध्ये, त्याच्यावरून तो टाइम हा आपण स्टोर केला जातो. दॅट मीन्स वी आर अप्लाइंग द टाइम स्टॅम्प. ओके, so the timestamp is the ordering protocol is used to order the transaction based on their timestamp. First come, if T1 transaction came first, then it will execute, and T2 transaction came second. Then T1 transaction has the highest priority than T2 according to their creation. Is it clear? So that means we are applying the timestamp. The priority of the older transaction is higher. That's why it executes first. To determine the timestamp of the transaction, each protocol uses the system time or logical counter. How to apply the timestamp? For that, we are using two timestamp. It uses the system time or logical counter for that. जो सिस्टीम मध्ये ऍक्च्युअल टाइम आहे तो तर यूज केला जातो, किंवा वी आर अप्लाइंग द लॉजिकल काउंटर 1 2 3 ऐसे, लाइक दैट. ओके, देन a log based protocol is used to manage the order between the conflict and the pair among the transaction at the execution time. But the timestamp based protocol start working as soon as the transaction is created. Okay, see, when it start the executing as soon as it's created. Okay, so let's assume first, if T1 and T2, there are two transactions are there, and T1 enters in the system at the 00 time, 007 times, and the transaction T2 enters at 009 times. T1 enters in the system at 007 times and T2 at 009 times. So which one has the higher priority? Yes, of course, the T1 has the higher priority than the T2. Okay, because it's enter into the system earlier than the T2. The timestamp ordering protocol also maintains the timestamp of a last read as well as the write operation on the data. Then how it maintains that timestamp of the read and write? Let's see now. So this is the basic timestamp ordering protocol, works as follow. See, here a transaction TI issue a read of queue operations. If here write of timestamp queue is greater than timestamp of TI. If it is greater, then it came later. So that's why this operation is get rejected. First one. This one is get rejected. If write timestamp of Q less than or equal to timestamp time of T1, then operation is executed. See, just remember, you have to remember first come, first serve. जो पहिल्यांदा आलाय त्याला पहिल्यांदा प्रायोरिटी दिली जाणार, एवढाच इथे कन्सर्न आहे टाइमस्टॅम्पचा. And check the whether the condition is of transaction TI write queue operations over here. If timestamp of TI less than write timestamp of Q, then operation is rejected. And if this one timestamp of TI less than write timestamp, then the operation is rejected and TI is rolled back, otherwise the operation is executed. Here, see, now TS of TI denotes the timestamp of the transaction TI. RTS of X denotes the timestamp of data item X, and write timestamp of X denotes the write timestamp of the X. Whatever we are discussed now, this is denoted by the diagram over here. If you see, this one is carefully, just I'm enlarging. Here, TI transaction started, read queue, or it performs the write queue operations. Okay. When it's allowed to read, if transaction timestamp of TI is less than write transaction of TQ. If it is a false, then the execute read queue. This is the algorithm. Okay. If it is a true, then it's get rolled back. And if you see over here carefully, the number of rollbacks are the more when the condition gets true. So this is the one of the drawback of the timestamp protocol. Okay. So to avoid that rollbacks, there is a validation based protocols is there. In the validation based protocol, transaction executed in the following three phases. First one is the read phase, next is the validation phase, and the third is the write phase. In read phase, the transaction T1 is read and executed. Okay, and it is used to read the value of the various data items and stores them temporarily in a local variables. Just in validation based protocol, there are three phases: read phase, validation phase, and write phase. In read phase, we are reading the transaction T and execute that one. And it can perform all the write operation on a temporary variable without an update the actual database. Okay. And the second is the validation phase. In this phase, the temporary variables value will be validated against the actual data. If the violates the serializability, here we are checking the cross-checking is performed with the temporary variable value, whether it's validated against the actual data or not. And the write phase, if the validation of the transaction is validated, then the temporary result are written to the database and system, otherwise the transaction is rolled back. Okay. Actually, this one is the extra one because there are three types. Then Then now come to the next point, that is the deadlock. See, this is one of the important point, deadlock. Have you heard this word before this, deadlock? Yes? Have you know that what do you mean by deadlock? Have you heard in any other subject? Because in computer, there is in operating system, there is a concept of the deadlock. In networking, there is also concept of the deadlock. In the database also. So in your subject, electronics base, is there any concept related to the deadlock? Have you heard the word? Say at least yes, no. I am not asking the details of the deadlock to you. Just you have an idea of deadlock or not? Yes, anyone? Do you know the word deadlock? Have you heard that one? तुम्ही डेडलॉक हा वर्ड कधी ऐकला आहे का? No. Okay, fine. Okay, it's totally new for you. Fine. See, a deadlock is a kind of condition. It's a kind of conditions. Where two or more transactions are waiting indefinitely for one another to give up the logs. ही कंडिशन कधी येते मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम? सी बघा, वन ब्रिज आहे आणि दोन्ही साइडने ट्रॅफिक चालू आहे आणि सपोज एकच कॉमन ब्रिज आहे, राईट हँड साइडला पण आहेत कार्स आणि लेफ्ट हँड साइडला पण आहेत आणि असं झालं आहे की दोन्ही साइड ब्रिज एकच आहे आणि दोन्ही साइडचे वेट करत आहेत कार्स की हा पहिल्यांदा थोडासा मागे होऊन तो ब्रिज रिलीज करेल आणि मी जाऊ शकेल आणि दुसरा वेट करत आहे की हा, आणि इथे हा ब्रिज हा रिसोर्स कन्सिडर करा आणि दुसरे कारचा जो आहे होणार तो वेट करत आहे की हा आधी मागे होऊन रिलीज करेल तो आणि मग मी जाईल, लाईक दॅट, आणि काहीच होत नाहीये. दे बोथ आर गेट स्टक ऑन दॅट ब्रिज. So deadlock is a condition where two or more transactions are waiting indefinitely for one another to give up logs. इथे आता काय रिसोर्सेस आहे आणि एकाने प्रिंटर होल्ड केलेला आहे, दुसऱ्याने आणखी काहीतरी सीपीयू होल्ड केलेला आहे, दुसरा कम्प्युटर असं कन्सिडर करा आणि अपोजिट दोघांनाही दोन्हीची गरज आहे. तर पहिला वेट करतोय की जो दुसरा आहे तो प्रिंटर रिलीज करेल आणि पहिला वेट करतोय की जो दुसरा स्टुडंट आहे तो कम्प्युटर पीसी रिलीज करेल आणि दोघेही एकमेकांची वाट बघत आहेत, लाईक दॅट. So deadlock is a condition where two or more transactions are waiting indefinitely for one another to give up logs, and deadlock is said to be one of the most feared complication in DBMS, as no task ever gets finished and is in a waiting state forever. Tasks तर काहीच होत नाहीये and just they are two transactions are waiting for each other to release the resource, to release the log. Assume kara, in the student table transaction, T1 holds a log or on some rows and needs to update some rows in a grade table. And simultaneously, transaction T2 holds the log on some rows in the grade table and needs to update the rows in the student table held by the transaction T1. हे बघा इथे स्टुडंट आहे, त्यांनी इथे T1 ने होल्ड केलेला आहे, आणि ग्रेड T2 ने होल्ड केलेला आहे टेबल, आणि T2 ला T2 is requesting for the student table and T1 is requesting for the grade tables. Now the main problem arises. The transaction T1 is waiting for the T2 to release the lock, and simultaneously transaction T2 is waiting for T1 to release its lock. And all the activity comes to the halt state and remain at the stand still. And that is nothing but it detects the DBMS deadlock. And we have to abort all the transaction at that time if you can't solve that deadlock. So how to handle the deadlocks? Okay. So deadlock avoidance is the one of the way to handle the deadlock. Next is the deadlock detections and deadlock prevention. These are the three ways by which we can handle the deadlocks: deadlock avoidance, deadlock detections, and deadlock prevention. Okay. Everyone listen carefully, because deadlock is the one of the important concept, and a number of times in a exam there is a questions on a deadlock. So let's see deadlock avoidance. When a database is stuck in a deadlock state, then it is better to avoid the database rather than aborting or restarting the database. This is a waste of time and resource. We are avoiding means we are just ignoring for some amount of time that whatever is the condition. And deadlock avoidance mechanism is used to detect any deadlock situation in advance. Okay, a method like a weight for graph is used for detecting the deadlocks. Okay, and this deadlock avoidance is if there is a small scale database is there, then we can use that one. If it is a larger database, then deadlock prevention method is most useful. Then just note down these points. What is deadlock? Then deadlock handling. First way is deadlock avoidance. Then the next one is the deadlock detection. In a database, when a transaction waits indefinitely to obtain a log, then the DBMS should detect whether the transaction is involved in a deadlocks or not. we have to detect where is the exact the problem. Here, the log manager maintains a wait for a graph to detect the deadlock cycle in the database. So, see here we also drawing the precedence graph T for the n number of transactions. And in that graph, if it's created the cycle, then here is the deadlock is present. Otherwise, our transaction goes smoothly. This is the suitable method for a deadlock detections. In this method, a graph is created based on the transaction and their log. Okay. If the created graph has a cycle or closed loop, see now over here. This is the cycle. T1 wait here, transaction T1 waits for the log, which is hold by the T2. And T2 wait for the log R, that is the resource R1, which is held by the T1. That means here the cycle is get created. It's also called as a closed loop. Then there is a deadlock. So the wait for the graph is maintained by the system for every transaction, which is waiting for some data held by the others. The system keeps checking the graph is if it is there and cycle is in the graph. Then in this way, we can detect the whether there is a deadlock or not. Okay. Now, the next way or next method is the deadlock prevention. Yes, deadlock prevention method is suitable for the large database. If the resources are allocated in such a way that deadlocks never occurs, then the deadlock can be prevented. Okay. So the database management systems analyze the operation of the transactions whenever they can create a deadlock situations or not. If they do, the DBMS never allowed the transaction be executed. Like in wait for a graph, if there is a cycle is creating, then in advance we are preventing that cycles and we are not allowing that transaction to be executed. This is the way to prevent the deadlock. So over here is the to avoid the deadlock, to avoid the deadlocks, wait die scheme is there. In this scheme, if the transaction requests for a resource which is already held with a conflicting log by another transaction, then the DBMS simply check the timestamp of both the transactions. Conflicting log, when we can call it as a conflict serializable, then if true, there are two different transactions working on a same data, and both want to access that data, then we are simply checking the timestamp of both the transaction. If it is allowed, and we are allowing the older transaction to wait until the resource is available for executions. Okay, according to their timestamps. Okay, then assume there are the Ti and Tj, and let timestamp T is of any transaction. Then if T2 holds the log by some other transaction, then T1 is requesting the resources held by the T2. Then the following actions are performed by the DBMS. Check if timestamp of Ti is less than timestamp of Tj. If Ti is an older transaction of Tj and has held some resource, then Ti is allowed to wait until the data item is available for the execution. Okay. That means if the older transaction is waiting for the resource which is logged by the younger transaction, then the older transaction is allowed to wait. यंगर ट्रान्झॅक्शन नंतरच्या आलेलं आहे पण रिसोर्स घेतलेला आहे, तर ओल्डर ट्रान्झॅक्शनला आपण परमिशन देतो की बाबा तू थोडा वेळ वेट कर. बट हे जर वाईस वर्सा असेल की ओल्डर ट्रान्झॅक्शननी होल्ड केलेलं आहे आणि यंगर ट्रान्झॅक्शन जर नंतर आलेलं ट्रान्झॅक्शन, दॅट इज अ यंगर ट्रान्झॅक्शन, हा डिमांड करत असेल, तर वी जस्ट इग्नोर दॅट वन. इफ द TI is older the transaction and holds some resource, if TJ is waiting for the TJ, it's killed, it directly rejected and restarted later with a random delay but the same timestamp. Okay, समजत आहे का? डेडलॉक प्रिव्हेंशन 2 ट्रान्झॅक्शन्स आहेत आणि अगेन आपण रिसोर्स कुणाला देणार किंवा तिथे डेडलॉक्स होऊ नये, एक सायमल्टेनियसली तर देऊ शकत नाही. एक रिसोर्स एका वेळी एकच जण हँडल करू शकतो. सो म्हणजे तर मग त्यावेळी जर TI हा ओल्डर असेल आणि TJ हा यंगर असेल, ओल्डर म्हणजे तो आधी आलेला आहे सिस्टीम मध्ये, तर TI आणि TJ हा यंगर आहे. सो TJ ने जर रिसोर्स होल्ड केला आहे आणि TI डिमांड करत असेल, TI डिमांड करतोय, तर वी आर अलाउइंग टू वेट फॉर सर्टन अमाऊंट ऑफ टाइम. ते जर म्हणजे आपण वेटिंग साठी त्याला अलाउ करत आहोत, त्याला किल नाही करत आहेत बिकॉज इट्स ओल्डर वन. बट इफ इट इज वाईस वर्सा, TI ओल्डर आहे आणि रिसोर्स पण होल्ड केलेला आहे आणि TJ इज डिमांडिंग फॉर द सेम, सो TJ इज किल्ड and restarted later with the random delay. Okay, so in this way we can prevent by applying the wait die scheme. The next scheme is the wound wait scheme. Okay, in a wound wait scheme, if the older transaction requests for the resource which is held by the younger transactions, then the older transaction forces younger one to kill the transaction and release the resource. After the minute delay, the younger transaction is restarted but with the same timestamp. And suppose if the older transaction has held a resource which is requested by the younger transaction, then the younger transaction is asked to wait until the older release it. इथे तो डिमांड रिक्वेस्ट करू शकतो की मे आय वेट फॉर until older transaction release. So हा डिफरन्स आहे वेट डाय स्कीम and wound wait scheme मध्ये. Here we are completed our unit 7, that is the transaction control, transaction and concurrency control. We covered all the points. Till there, is there any doubt? Let me know. Any doubt, any query related to the transaction and concurrency control? Today
No doubt, ma'am.
Okay. Today I will share the PPTs of this unit. Okay. Just complete the tutorials as well as today for 2 to 3 there is a unit test on unit 7 for A division, and 4 to 5 there is a unit test for the B divisions. Okay, are you ready for the same? Okay, thank you. CR of the both the division, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, division B. Division B, CR, are you there? Please share the
Yes, ma'am.
share the screenshot. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.